Hello. I'm here. I'm actually here. Hi. Hello. Uh, yeah. On Friday, totally lost track of the day. I had a pile of dishes to do. I was doing other chores. I was running errands. Checked the clock. It was like already 4. It was no. I was gonna get everything ready. I was out at the time. It was just screw it. We'll put it off. So that's what happened then. Today, I have a vague concept of an idea. I found 2 unrelated meats in the discount bin. Chicken tenders and a gigantic chunk of ham, but it's a sliced ham. So we're going to combine them. At the very least, we're going to combine those. It's going to be very meat forward because it's all meat. So I need to concoct. I did not spend the day concocting recipe ideas. I just spent the day kind of vaguely wandering around. My landlord had to come and fix some siding, and I don't know. I don't know. So that's where we're at. I need a glass of water. Hang on, guys. Hang on, kids, fellas, folks. Let me grab my glass. All the windows are open again. We've emerged from winter. We're back into the relentless grip of summer. It's in the 70s. It's going to be in the 70s for days. Which is frankly absurd, insane, and not great. So, chicken and ham. The thing that springs to mind first is chicken Kiev or cordon bleu. But we're not stuffing the chicken because these are chicken tenders, so they're very skinny. So there's no way we're getting stuff inside. But we can use the same flavors. We could make like cordon bleu tenders for dipping. What's in a chicken cordon bleu? Cordon bleu. Right, it's a roulade. We're not doing a roulade. Blah, 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 blah. Swiss cheese. I don't have Swiss cheese. I have mozzarella cheese. We can do mozzarella. It's not exactly the same. Ham, chicken, breading, salt and pepper. It's very basic. You definitely want to serve that with something. We could do this. They'd be kind of like inside out. Mozzarella. If we do mozzarella. Chicken Kiev. Is similar. Blah, 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 chicken, breading materials, spices. There's no ham. Spices. Chicken, ham, cheese, spices. Okay, okay. I think I know where I'm taking this. Do I want to do breading? do I want to do I probably do if I'm going to do this. We're not doing a deep fry today. And I don't think we're doing an air fry today either. The air fryer has recently been used, it has some crumbs in it, but it was used for something I breaded, so it would be fine to just use the crumbs. How many crumbs do I have? Not none, but not a ton. Okay, I think I know where I'm taking us. Take a peek at this. That is not going to be used. Okay. Okay. Isosceles, you're first. Hi, welcome. I'm brainstorming. I'm in the process of the brainstorming. Congratulations, you're first. No one else is first. No one can ever take that away from you. Today. Unless the stream crashes. Hi, welcome in. So we're brainstorming. So you're looking at my face. I have 2 discount meats. Chicken tenders and ham. Now ham, there's a lot of ham. Ham will keep longer. The chicken tenders, we should probably use all of these, so that's the focus. And currently I'm sort of gravitating Pollo Cubano. Oh, interesting. Like a Cubano sandwich, but with chicken instead of pork. I do not have any rolls on which to make that. I was thinking, so what I was talking myself into when there was no one to talk to a minute ago, I was talking myself into cordon bleu, like chicken cordon bleu tenders. So for dipping. Because I wouldn't have to make bread for that. Which is why the cheese is out here, because there would be cheese in that wrap. But Cubano. Now, do I have anything pickly? You can't have a Cubano without pickles. I didn't buy a lot of ingredients today, and actually used up all of my I've got those pickles. Interesting. Possibly. Or chicken Kiev. I was also looked at chicken Kiev. Now, chicken Kiev does not typically have ham. So, at least not the ones I've encountered. But they do have a lot of herbs, so we could sort of smash these ideas into each other. The thing I was thinking of most while I was trying to brainstorm this was that this is a meat. This is a meat and also salty. Cheese is fatty. We needed to balance this out. It was going to end up being really intense. And all these things also would want butter, and butter is just another fat. So I was getting into this realm of like, oh, this is just going to be heavy, gross, fatty, awful deliciousness. But a Cubano. Now I got to pull that up in a new tab. Cubano. Mustard, pickles. A long one. Bread, butter, garlic, mustard, Swiss cheese, pork, but we would use chicken, ham, pickles. That's definitely a possibility. Selena, you're not first. Congratulations. Welcome, welcome. We're brainstorming. We're brainstorming. Isosceles has pointed me in a new direction, so the brainstorming continues. We don't have Swiss cheese. We have other options for cheese, though. So what we got? What else we got? We have a pepper jack. We have Asiago. Asiago. What are you? We have Colby. Those are the. Well, also got American cheese. Don't think that would be very, very, very proper. Pickles we can do. These aren't like regular pickles. These were a quick pickle, but they've actually been in there long enough that they've stopped being quick. I needed to preserve some cucumbers real fast, so I chucked them in a sugar, salt, vinegar brine so that they wouldn't go off. Because I received a bunch of cucumbers that had to get used, and that was my solution. But that can be the pickly element that I was thinking we wouldn't be able to get a hold of. I could still go for like a dipper tender thing. How do you feel about Cubano chicken tenders? I like it. That's so we're sort of smashing these ideas together. I don't know if you've ever had a. Oh, it's got a bunch of names. They call it Midwest sushi. They call it a ham roll. It's a tortilla, cream cheese, ham. A tortilla, some cream cheese, and some ham wrapped around a pickle and then sliced. That's a common like potluck hors d'oeuvre around these parts. And what that does is they put pickle in there to balance it out. We could try something like that. I don't know how this will cook up. Do we bread it? We should bread it, but I don't really want to do a fry today. And then if we're doing this, we also have to have a dip. Because you can't have a chicken tenders without something to dip it in. What is the dip? Well, it would be the mustard, right? We'd make a mustard. We would make a spiced garlic mustard dip. I think. Okay. I don't know how long this is going to take. I don't even have a concept of how long this might take. Set the ham aside. Set the cheese aside. Set the pickles aside. First thing first, we're going to get that chicken open and see what we're working with. Okay, I guess the brainstorming is through. I should change the title. Now that we know what we're making. Okay, what do we got? I should have changed the title before I touched the chicken, because now I'm locked into touching chicken. Discount bin chicken is one of the things where I absolutely trust the date that they put on it. Not even all meats you can trust the date, but chicken for sure I trust the date, which means we got to use this today because today's the date. I almost want to split them and make like really skinny things because then it'll be easier to kind of pin the ham around it. Oh, I'm going to wash my hands real fast. Okay, okay. Oh, okay, well, I guess we're changing the title to Cubano Chicken Tenders with I don't know, with something and dip. Probably should get a vegetable in here somehow. Ooh, I know. With come on, go away, little pop-up notification. Go away. Okay. Okay. So, if I split them the long way and make a lot of little skinny ones, that would give us more room to put in a layer of cheese and a layer of pickle inside of the ham roll without having to get out 2 pieces of ham. My concern is that the ham wants to have enough overlap, and I'm going to be putting 2 more things inside of it. So yeah, I think we want to split these down the middle with our big slicer. There's also it's really hard to see on chicken, but there's a grain to it where it goes right down the middle and then it goes that way and it goes that way. If we split it, we won't have that grain. Yeah, that looks more like what I was thinking. I'm also going to take this tendon off because that's what that is right there. Possibly why it was in a discount. Somebody could see the tendon. Okay. Well, that's guys. I guess that's what I'm making. What are you guys having? Zosli's is apparently going to have a Cubano sandwich, based on our conversation just now. Google Quest to find a Cubano. Your Google Quest to find a Cubano. You found birria ramen. I have not had a professionally made birria ramen. I've had birria and I've had ramen, and I've had an instant birria ramen. I found an instant one, which was okay. I mean, as instant ramens go, it was actually pretty good. It was on the better side for instant ramens. It was kind of on the weak side for birria, so and I think that's unavoidable with the instantness of it. But apparently Tapatio, the hot sauce brand, has been getting into instant noodles. They've got a line of instant ramens and a line of instant mac and cheeses. And they're pretty okay as far as the instant selection goes, which is weird because I don't think of that company as being anything other than a hot sauce brand. Curry rice and whatever you had in the fridge. That's the best kind of curry rice. I got some stuff. I have been trying to not buy quite so many random things because I have recently, although it's been getting better as the weather's cooling off, when it was quite warm, I was throwing away more than a little bit of the discount produce I was picking up because I wasn't getting to it in time. So I'm trying to control myself and buy things only when they are an absolute fabulous deal or when I have an immediate idea so that I'm not just buying something and pitching it. Because you buy something at a discount and then throw it away, you may as well not have bought it. It's happened more than a couple times recently. I am sad to say. I feel like this is not going to take very long. Look at the size of this ham. Why is this such a big... By the way, $3.50 from the reduced meat department for this. Well, it's $1 a pound, so it's 3.5 pounds of ham. Yeah, exactly. So, but as long as I use part of it, I feel okay. So the bananas, I'm going to keep buying them because I'll at least eat $1's worth of bananas before the rest of the bananas go off. Even when I get 20-something bananas and half of them go off, 10 bananas for $1 is a great deal. So, on the other hand, I got two big tomatoes, and they both went off before I got to them. They went right in the bin. I would have saved my $1. So in part of it's also some of the things in the discount just aren't worth picking up because they won't even keep long enough to get to. Let's check out this here. Ham. Ham should keep pretty well, I would think. I might, now that I've got this open, I think I might break this lump into parts. It's kind of stuck together. And freeze part of it so then I'll have ham later. Because I don't know that I'll get through this whole big piece. It kind of tore apart a little bit. Let's see if I can get a cleaner... Yeah, pushing that to there, to there. We're going to do this on a different board so that I don't chicken my hams. Okay. The ham is definitely trying to... It's probably been in this package for a while, which is why it was being discounted. It really wants to stick to itself. Oh, yeah, and break. Our wrap might be difficult if I can't get one of these to come out in a nice, even piece without tearing. Don't chicken the hams. Isosceles said it, not me. I cannot take credit for it. Isosceles, quote, don't chicken the hams. It's going on your tombstone. Yes, that was a threat. For legal reasons, no, that was not a threat. It was a joke. Julia Child quote. Famous Julia Child quote, don't chicken your hams. It's this little, you can't quite see it, it's this spot, which is also the fattiest part, that really wants to hold together. And then it tears. And it immediately tears. So I'm getting these like shreds of ham. I should taste this ham. How good is this ham? That's good ham. Oh, that's tasty ham. Oh, this is going to be good if I can get these to work. Okay, we're trying to pull off two at the same time instead for extra thickness. Your Tombstone Pizza. Yeah, exactly. Today's episode was sponsored by Tombstone. Not a sponsor. ... Pizza. Can you imagine getting sponsored by Tombstone Pizza? I should reach out to one of those companies that never sponsors anyone just to see what they say. Max, Max, what are you doing? What are you doing? Hi, welcome. Thanks for the subscribe. For 11 months, that's almost a year. Amazing. Welcome in. I don't think I'm going to get clean slices off of these hams, so we're going to attempt to roll one. I'm starting to get the feeling this is going to be a really short day. But who knows? Unforeseen nonsense could easily swoop in. I'm going to attempt to roll one. And see what happens. And it should be tight, right? That's not pretty. Maybe. I need to stop touching everything. Well, okay. The hams that are pulled off are going to get cooked. So we can touch them. I just now can't stick my finger. Oh, God. Sometimes working with chicken is just the worst. How's it going, Max? What's up? Wash my hands real fast. So for today's project, we mashed together a bunch of words that sounded really tasty when you put them together. And I'm rapidly learning that that does not mean that it is easy to make. Because we are definitely in the realm of this is a struggle. I'm gonna make a smaller one. These pickles, sure don't have their middles in them anymore. Problem is, as soon as I cook this, because the cheese is not contained by the ham, the cheese is going to try to melt and escape. Bookwoman, hi. The answer to that question is neither. Although, technically, I suppose they're on the sweet side because there's sugar in the brine. I made these myself, and I did not put dill in them. And they're not proper pickles. They're just quick pickle cucumbers in a brine because I had some cucumbers that were going to go and I needed to save them. And we are trying to make this concept work, and I am concerned that we might not be able to. That one, for sure, is a disaster. That one's going to fall apart as soon as we try to cook it. I don't think we can bread these. They seem too fragile. Right, they would need something to hold them together. But then they're leaning in the direction of something else. We could use rice paper. That's very thin. That's very thin, and it's big enough to fully contain these things. Otherwise, do I have a wonton skins? We just used a bunch of wonton skins. I have some frozen spring roll wrappers. And I have some frozen wonton skins. But they would take a hot minute to get thawed out. And I'm not sure. Right, the cheese is gonna. The hope was that this ham would come out as nice clean slices, and that could be my containing outer layer. But the ham is very fall aparty. So I don't think that's going to work. So now we're problem solving. You could blame isosceles for this. I was going to make something else. Although the thing I was going to make was also ham and chicken and cheese. But mine was different. It was the same idea, but different. Rice paper. We do rice paper, we need to do... it's going to be... isosceles, yay. Rice paper would hold all this together. Rice paper was definitely the thing that would hold all this together. This one, can get down here. I shouldn't have chickened this board at all. And then if we... Okay. If we're doing rice paper, then we're going to probably want to fry them. Change the title again real quick. Okay, I think we're off the cuffing it today. Oh, the rice papers are this big. The rice papers are going to wrap around this no problem and have a bunch of extra on the sides. What does isosceles win? You don't win anything. You're first. That's all you need. You got first. First is its own reward. Cubano chicken tender roll-ups. Look at isosceles. Got first. immediately wants some more. I'm washing this board real quick. Okay. Okay. We can do this with the rice papers. I just need a place to put them now. And I want to use this board as the work surface, which means it needs to be de-chickened. Let that drip for a minute. ICU. Yeah, ECU. Hi, you're not first. Congratulations. We're troubleshooting around here. I need a pan that is wide and shallow, into which a rice paper will fit so that I can wet it. And honestly, what the hell? It only needs to be as big as the papers. It doesn't need... It doesn't really need to be enormous, because the rice papers just go in there and get wet. So we'll just put a pan on the side over here. Rotate that around a little bit more. We'll deal with those ones that are partially made in a minute. Get out a working board. I'm getting crowded. I'm going to have to get out a sheet to stage these on. That can live there. And then that needs to cheese stuff, staging board. We're not cooking this, so wax paper is enough as a non-stick. TK, you're not first. Congratulations on being not first. No one can ever take that away from you today. Today's the day of you, the not first. Okay. Rice paper. You put it in the water. You kind of get it wet. And then you pull it out of the water. And it becomes, put it in the water a little bit longer than that. That's looking better. And it becomes soft. And then you take a piece of your ham that has only been lightly chickened, and you plunk it in there. And it makes a plunking noise, like so. And you take a piece of your cheese and you put that in there. And then you reach over and you fish out some of these really ugly pickles. Followed by a chicken. And then you use your rice paper, which has continued softening on the wet surface. And you've got this, which is all nice and contained, compared to the same thing here, which was all falling apart. Now, the chicken in the middle is raw, so cooking these is going to be a little bit of a challenge. So keep that in mind, that this is going to be an adventure. Ooh-wee. Okay. Well, I know Isosceles is finding a Cubano, or possibly a birria ramen. What's everybody else having? I wish to know of your adventures in the food. Okay. Rice paper. Ham. I should keep one hand to be a chicken hand. Cheese, pickle, chicken. And I chicken to the other hand. Thing. Done. That one looks even better than the first one. I see what I did. I see what I did differently. I left the end as like a tail on this one, and for that second one I folded it in. Okay. I should pre-divide all of this cheese so that I'm not fighting with it. We're going to use all of it regardless. So I'm not worried about getting it a little bit chickeny right now. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 cheeses left. We have more than 7 tenders. We have 9 tenders, so we're going to run out of cheese. Okay. No, this will be fine. How many of these do I have? We have plenty of rice paper. Ooh-wee. I guess we were strapping in for another kind of awkward rolling session. How are we going to cook these? I'm going to want the rice paper to get like crispy on the outside. Zaizan, hi, welcome. We are indeed moistening our rice paper right over here, right there. But also, moist. Zaizan, you're not first. Congratulations on being not first. No one can ever take that away from you. I'm going to wrap up this one that we already had mostly made over here. We are going to run out of this specific cheese. I have other cheeses. We could go with other cheeses. And it should be Swiss cheese, regardless. So it's the wrong cheese. The wrong cheese. Wallace never actually said the wrong cheese. He said the wrong trousers. It's the wrong cheese, Gromit. That one's a mess. What if I just fold the ends over first? Like a burrito. I did not soften this one enough. We didn't soften this one enough. It's very stiff. I'm getting lazy on my softening. I'm getting lazy. I should put the next one in when I pull the first one out. They're going to be all different. What's going to happen here is they're going to be all sort of weird. They don't need to be down there because they're not really that delicate, so I'm going to put them over on the sheet. Or on the stove sheet. Oh, my hands are all chickeny. I need to wash my hands so I can pull some more ham off the block as well. I don't want to ham up or chicken up the whole block of ham. That wouldn't be good. Because I do not intend to cook that whole thing. And ham is frequently eaten uncooked, so... So I should get a plate and load it up with hams. Hams are a little bit easier to get off when I'm not trying to contain them into nice, perfect individual sheets of ham. The ham is a little bit weird because it's got a discount sticker on it, but usually the discount sticker is pasted over the top of a regular price sticker, and this ham did not have a regular price sticker. It only existed as a discount ham. I assume that means it came out of the deli case, and they just slapped the discount sticker right on it instead of pricing it normally. But it was a little bit odd. I kind of wish they hadn't formed it into a huge block. It makes pulling pieces off a little annoying. It'd be good for making sandwiches because you can just sort of shred the layers off. But anything involving nice, even pieces is going to be a issue. So, Saizan. Question, specifically for you. No one else is allowed to answer. What's for dinner? Okay. That should be enough ham to get us hamming. Oops. Forgot the pickles. This one's been slightly over softened. Jay, what the heck? It's so floppy. I can't figure out what the heck. How did the whatever. For somehow the contents slid over the rice paper instead of the rice paper rolling up. So then the top flap was super long instead of it being the bottom flap, which meant I had to flip the whole thing over in order to get it to like stick to itself. What is it? The question, what's for dinner? So that one got too soft and very slippy. Hard to work with. Oh, there's also some ham over here. That ham. The other ham. Rice paper should be soaked in warm water. It softens up faster, and I'm doing it in cold water because in the past I've had problems with it over softening. And now I'm having problems with it both over and under softening, so I guess that wasn't the solution. Ham, cheese. For you, yes. Pizza. Pizza's good. Pizza's good. No, I always ask what people are having for dinner. I just don't usually call out specific people and demand answers. Sorry, that was just for you. Spinach Asiago pizza at D&D. Amazing. Amazing. Some of these are coming out real messes. Real messes. Oh, and I need to remember to put the next one in there right away so that it has a chance to get softened. And sorry if I put you on the spot. Sorry I put you on the spot, but I really actually intended to put you on the spot. So, not that sorry. But that sounds good. Lunch an hour ago. An hour ago it was 4:45. That's not lunchtime. You can't call that a lunch. I object. Teriyaki fried spam on rice with hard-boiled eggs for afternoon snack. Heck, at that point it's evening snack. This time of year it's almost nighttime snack. These are hard to roll. They're very, very extra slippy. And the ham is just sturdy enough to resist rolling. You've had a weird day. I've had a pretty normal day, actually. Sorry you've had a weird day. Oh, oh, that sucks. That's not what you want to hear. Oh, I hope they're not stuck in the land of far off. Oh, I know it was a gaming thing. Friend of the channel, Shining Spear. My hands are all goopy, or I'd give him a shout out. Does gaming, fighting games, competitive fighting games. And I guess there was some kind of event. I'm aware of this by proxy, as I was not really in the fighting game scene. Oh, I absolutely need to get one of these rice papers in that water now. What the? Breakfast, second breakfast. Dinner, and second dinner. So you're a hobbit. Oh, that was the way to fold it. Now, how did I do that? Now, how did I do that? I got to fold the next one that same way, because that was the way to fold it. Oh, come on. Having a heck of a time with these rice papers today. It's breakfast, second breakfast, brunch, luncheon, tea, supper, dinner, and there's another one. Oh, I can't remember them. No, my nerd cred. I can't remember all the Hobbit meals. That's like the basic. It's one of the basic ones. You're supposed to remember all the Hobbit meals because there's only like a dozen. And you can remember a dozen things. I hear a lot of wind. No. I hear a street sweeper. I got my windows open because it's like 75 degrees outside or some nonsense. So I'm hearing things from the front. I hope you aren't hearing things from the front. But that's a street sweeper. For sure. Let me know if any of that is coming through on the mic. I doubt it will. It's pretty far away and the mic's decent at at filtering stuff out, but okay. That one, I think I've got the trick to this worked out. We don't forget to put a fresh one in the water. We ham it up, cheese it, pickle chicken, fold the ends over, then fold the middle over and roll. And you get a nice neat roll, and it goes really fast too, which was the other thing. Some of those were just terrible. Some of those were just terrible. But we figured it out. Okay, I will not remember this. I will not remember this method the next time we have to do spring rolls, but I should. That rice paper is broken. Hopefully that's not a problem. You're currently snacking before second dinner. You just said that you're not hungry. Not a minute ago. Although, I will admit, I frequently eat when I am not hungry as well. I've got that thing that I can't remember the name of it's a Chinese phrase, and I do not remember how to say it in Chinese, but it translates to something around the realm of your mouth is bored, or your mouth is lonely. That's what it is. You're not hungry, your mouth is lonely. These are gang. These pickles are neither. It's fresh cucumber in a brine of half and half water vinegar with both salt and sugar. So they're not true pickles. They are quick pickles, but they are also have been in there a while. So they are old quick pickles, slow quick pickles. We have run out of cheese, and I don't think I'm going to go forth with any more cheese, so I guess the rest of these are going to be cheeseless. Which is unfortunate. There's a lot of these. Wow, I'm surprised at how many of these are coming out of this. We have 4 tenders left, and we only have 3 rice papers, so we are going to run out. We've already run out of cheese. And I need 2 more pieces of ham, which I need to de-chicken my fingers if I'm going to touch the ham. So I wish I could go back and refold some of the early ones, because I've worked out the method to get them folded, and now some of them are just disasters. Those are for the lactose intolerant people among us, of which I know a bunch, actually. Although all the lactose intolerant people I know still eat dairy, they just guzzle the bottle, they're downing entire bottles of those lactase pills beforehand, just slamming them by the fistful. Ugh. This is good sandwich ham because it likes to sort of shred apart into pieces. It's not good for the thing that I am using it for. Okay. Okay, that. Pickle, chicken, fold the ends over, fold the middle over, tuck tightly, roll to the end, perfect little roll. Our final rice paper is going in the bath. It cracked a little bit. This one. Ham, pickle, chicken. Fold. Roll. Perfect. Done. Oh, boy. I wish I had worked out at the beginning. The lesson here is I need to do more rice paper projects so that I remember how to fold rice paper, so that I don't end up ruining a bunch. So I only have 1 left, and these 2 are kind of skinny. I'm going to put both of them in there. And make kind of a fat one. That one did not work out quite so well. Okay, these are going to be a nightmare to cook. These things are going to be a nightmare to cook. I can already tell you that now. Wash hands. They have low structural integrity, air spaces, a straight up liquid ingredient inside from the pickles, another ingredient that's going to melt as they cook from the cheese, and they need to be cooked through to the middle because there's raw chicken in there. Which, you know, wasn't the best idea I ever had. Before I dive in on, where did my paper towels go? Paper towel, where have you gone? There you are. Before we dive in on cooking, we are cleaning up this space. Ugh, pickle juice is dripping. And chicken water and pickle juice and get out our disinfecting wipes. Disinfecting wipes. Because I don't want to deal with chicken goop. Okay. Slide over here. These things. How do you cook these to ensure that they are actually cooked through to the middle? We can test them with a probe. Test them with a probe. The rice paper won't soak up a ton of oil as it fries, but it'll soak up a little bit. Problem is, I think the rice paper is going to cook faster than I want. Can you bake these? Are these a bakeable item? That doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound right, does it? And then we do like 2 at a time, right? Can you bake? How to bake spring rolls with rice paper. Oh, the page is 410 gone. Baked rice paper rolls. I guess you can bake them. shouldn't take... Boy, I hate pop-ups. I'm going to try a few different things. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna try multiple options here. Because one of them is bound to work. Okay. Sheet with cooking spray. We're going to take some of our rolls, and it's going to be a random selection of them. So that means some of the bad ones. And some of the good ones. Spray them, flip them, spray them, and then they're going to get baked. And we're going to find out what that does. Okay. Wash stuff. Didn't think I was baking, so we weren't preheating the oven, but we're preheating it now. So these are reserved for the oven, as soon as that is hot. We're also going to attempt to pan fry some, see what happens there. We could chuck some in the air fryer, see what happens there. There are some crumbs in my air fryer, but they will be easy to wipe out. I guess that's the experiment now. We're trying these in different ways. Get rid of these oiled crumbs. I made fried pickles in the style that I made them here for you guys once over the weekend. And the crumbs remained in my fryer. So let's get that heating up. Let's get the spray back out. The spray is the easiest way to coat the outer surface of a spring roll. This way, we also have them going multiple sides at once, so we aren't waiting for them all to cook at the same time, or one at a time, rather. Okay, there are 3 in the air fryer. There are 5 going in the oven, which leaves us with 6, 7 to see if we can't get them going here on the stovetop. Okay, and then we're going to make a dipper. Uncle Stinky, hi. Hi from Wisconsin. Welcome in. We made a thing. We did a bunch of brainstorming. We did some troubleshooting. We've settled on what are essentially spring rolls, Cubano spring rolls. Sorry, chicken Cubano spring rolls, because it's got chicken instead of pork loin. And now we're going to figure out if we can actually cook them. And then we're going to make a sauce, and I think the sauce is going to be a simple yellow mustard mayo and some spices. Because the Cubano normally has mustard on it. We didn't put any mustard in the rolls. And I don't want the dip to just be straight mustard. So I think we're going to cut it with some mayo. And then we can add like some black pepper, maybe a little bit of garlic powder. Not too much, but sort of zing it up a little bit. The pickles in the rolls should help balance out the fact that this is a lot of meat, and some cheese. And I'm attempting to cook them 3 different ways because I've got a lot of them and I actually don't know how you're supposed to cook something like this. So we're going to experiment. So there are 3 of them in the air fryer, which I need to actually turn on and air fry. Let's hit them for 10 minutes to start with and see what they look like. So there are 3 of them in the air fryer. There are 5 of them over here on this sheet that will be going in the oven once that is hot. Those should be the slowest ones, but unfortunately I didn't think I was going to use the oven, so I didn't preheat the oven. And then we have some oil heating up on the stove here for the remaining 7, and it's 7 because only 5 of them fit on that sheet and only 3 of them fit in the air fryer. So I guess if the air fryer ones work really well, I'll put some more in the air fryer and do less here. They're going to be kind of like lumpia, except this is rice paper, like the gummy spring roll kind of rice paper, as opposed to lumpia, which are a thin wheat wrapper typically, and they are almost always fried, as far as I know. Lumpia are great. I have the right wrappers for those, and when I was brainstorming, we did look at them. Unfortunately, they are frozen, so then I would have had to have thawed them, whereas the rice paper was just dry, so I could use that immediately by just rehydrating it. So we went with that option, but I think I actually think that using the real, they're still spring roll skins. That's the problem. Calling them spring rolls, This is much too broad of a thing. We have that kind of wrapper though. I think that actually would have been better, but they weren't ready to use. Oh man, I'm really thirsty today too. Is it all the talking? It might be all the talking. So I think our oil is hot. I don't want this to smoke. We're gonna do one to start and see what it does. We're not just gonna dive in with tons of them. The biggest issue that I'm concerned about with these is that the chicken in the middle is raw. So we have to cook these sufficiently that the chicken in the middle is cooked through. That's going to be a bit of a challenge. I probably, definitely, should have cooked the chicken beforehand. If you're following along at home, I have no guidance for this. My guidance is probably don't do this the way I've done it. We've made mistakes. Oh. The oven clicked, so these guys are going to go into the oven. I don't know how long. I don't really have an idea of how long. They're about an inch thick, so how to bake chicken by thickness. 20 to 30 minutes. I like to wing it as well. I am a little bit less cavalier when it comes to dealing with raw chicken. So that's what's got me a little bit concerned this time. The air fryer wants me to shake those around. I'm not doing that. I'm going to let the full thing run as is, and then we're going to go in there and flip them with the tongs. Because I don't want to let the heat out of the air fryer. I want it to be hot, hot, hot in there. Given that it says 20 minutes for baking, and an air fryer is essentially a tiny oven, we can use that as the guideline and say 20 minutes in the air fryer should also be enough, in theory. Yeah, we're not eating any of these unless I can confirm that the chicken is cooked. We're not diving in on undercooked, especially since this was bargain bin chicken. It was already on the aged side when we got it. Which means we're taking no chances with making sure it's cooked. I'll actually have the temperature probe on hand for that. Well, one of our temperature probes. I need to stop throwing stuff into this drawer when I'm done with it and actually, like, set it down with some logic. So the one on the stove is the one I'm most worried about us not working correctly. Where did I put the temperature probe? Oh. I was probing something, so it's dirty. Okay, well. The one on the stovetop is the one I'm most worried about, just in general, because that's the least reliable way. We get a lot of strong sear on the outside and not a lot in the middle. I can say I've never poisoned myself on raw chicken, or undercooked chicken, yet. I have done so with fish. And I think it's because I'm a little bit more cavalier with fish than I am with chicken. I'm very, like, do it right, buttoned up, perfect when it comes to poultry. Because I live in America, the land of... We refuse to vaccinate our chickens. Instead, we just assume they're all contaminated with salmonella forever. Which... Hooray. America. America. This guy's looking good on the outside, at least. When I've got this level of browning on all of the sides, which is taking a while, I will note. And our oil, this is olive oil, which I'm thinking was the wrong choice, because it's starting to smoke a little bit. So I might cut it with a little bit of grapeseed just so that it... I also think we need enough oil to cover the bottom. Because the oil is definitely getting smoky. The air fryer has beeped. That guy's still going on that one side. Let's take a peek in there. Ooh, they don't look amazing. I will say that they don't look amazing. They are hardening up a little bit on the outside. We're going... Oop, that one ruptured. One of them ruptured. Two of them ruptured. Two of them have ruptured. Air fryer might be a bust. They're having a hard time. We're going to blast them for another 10 minutes, but it does not seem like the air fryer is going to be a winner for these. This guy's actually looking the best among all of our options, although we're getting a ton of splatter. I would like to change pans so that I can get one that has a fitted lid, which I think will also help with some steaming. And then I can also get rid of that oil because the olive oil is definitely starting to burn. because the room is filling with smoke. I don't know if you can see, but I can sure tell that our room here is filling with smoke. Okay, okay. So, heat off. It's looking okay. It's crispy on the all sides. It's starting to burn a little bit on those sides because, again, our olive oil is scorching, which is not ideal. Which is not ideal. It's a mess in here. Welcome to the wild, crazy nonsense. Bored. Spring roll. Get this pan off of the heat. Swap it in for this pan. But we're not oiling that one up until we check up on this guy. Until we check up on this guy. And the way we're checking up on him is with a temperature probe, which I was this guy. Right in the heart. Well, it's hot. 190. We definitely went over our target temp. 190 is in fact way over, which now has me intrigued. That pan was not even on medium. I thought I was gonna have to turn the pan up a little bit. Okay, okay. I want to wipe down the stove top a little bit. We had a lot of oil splatter from that one. A problematic level of oil splatter. Oh, it's gonna be fun to turn that back burner on and smoke out the oil. I'm a little worried about our air fryer ones. I think they're going to be a disaster. I really do. I think that air frying is super not the way to do this. Just based on the preliminary peek at them, I am... Ooh, I know, we will use... Is corn oil a high heat oil? I have a bunch of corn oil. Corn, yes. Yes, okay, good. We will use corn oil because I have a bunch of corn oil from a discount bin, and I can get enough to just cover the bottom of that pan. And I won't have to dip into my grapeseed oil, which is a bit more expensive. Get that pan heating up. Okay, okay. No. I think as long as I put all these in seam side down, if they have a seam side, because remember, we didn't fold all these properly. This guy's going to be too blazing hot to eat, so we're not doing that yet. But the temperature probe came out good. So I'm going to just soldier forth. And I've got the lid ready. This is a fitted lid for this pan so that we can control the splatter, and also it will steam them a little bit, so maybe I don't have to fry them quite as long and be quite as diligent about flipping. I can maybe just get away with a single flip. Those air fryer ones are going to be a disaster. The ones in the oven are going to take a minute. I think the ones in the oven are going to be in there until we're done with all the rest of these. Just because the oven is the slowest of these methods. So we're looking for with the oil. It's going to start to visibly move around on its own, which you can not see on the camera, unfortunately. It gets these little ripples, and eventually the ripples speed up to the point where we call it that, where we say it's shimmering. And what it is microconvection within the oil, where it has, because oil has sort of a higher viscosity, it flows slower, it's got that sort of oiliness to it. When you heat it up, it speeds up. We're looking for it to speed up to the point where it flows like water, approximately. Because then we know it's nice and hot. Two minutes left on the air fryer, which will have made approximately 20 minutes for the ones in the oven, which I just peeked at them and I do not trust that that is enough time to have cooked those. So we're going to give them a little bit more time while I fry some more up over the top. And yeah, that's, I guess, going to be the project. And then I'm going to have a clean up day. Exciting. How's our oil looking? Pretty good. Not the smokiest. It's getting some of those larger ripples, but it's not like gotten a good shimmer yet. This oil is not deep enough to do a temperature test on. If I had one of those laser temperature ones, we could actually do a temperature test on it. If you do a lot of cooking that is very temperature sensitive, I recommend getting one of those laser pointer temperature probes. It's like a little gun. It looks just like a police radar gun. It shoots out a little red laser, and it tells you the temperature of the surface that the laser point is touching, or is shining on. It's very handy for things that can't be probed, like a grill top, or a very shallow oil like this. I think our oil is looking pretty hot. I'm going to try putting one of these guys in and see what it do. It sizzle. Okay. With those in, we're going to lid them. We're going to come over here, lay down a trivet, because we have just beeped our air fryer for 20 minutes. Ooh, they look terrible. Okay, the air fryer ones don't look good at all. But they do look like they're cooked. That one is held together. This one has busted a seam and leaked its cheese. This one looks like it just stuck and shredded apart. It looks like the contents boiled out at some point, and they also tried to stick to the grating in here. And there's a lot of cheese leakage that has burned in place on the bottom, so I don't think we're doing any more like that. They don't look inedible, but they do look like I'm going to have a fun time cleaning the burnt cheese out of there. Let's give the least gnarly one a temperature spike. Well over temperature. Looks like we're actually not having a hard time getting these cooked through to the middle, so that's a good sign. But these sure came out ugly. This one looks so much nicer by comparison, even though I burned it a little bit. Yeah, so the air fryer ones they're cooked, but they're a mess. They're a disaster. Well, they're ugly. They're ugly. So I guess don't use the air fryer for spring rolls. It doesn't work. It's one of those things where they market the air fryer as being able to do anything you can deep fry, you can air fry, and it's not true. There are things that just do not behave the same in the air fryer compared to actual deep oil. And these are obviously one of those things, because you can fry these in deep oil and they come out, I don't know about the specific contents, but they come out like this, with this blistered surface, not this. But it got them up to temperature, so that part worked. They actually did cook. Oops. This is getting kind of loud. I don't know how long to leave them, but they're quite noisy in there. So they probably shouldn't be too long. Thinking about plates. Oops. Well, I got some new plates. There was a set of plates for $5, and I picked them up in yellow and red, which are two colors of plates I don't have. But I did not have a chance to run them through the wash yet, so I don't want to use them straight away. So I guess the black. I know. No, I know. I know. This guy. Because that should be just the right size to sort of make little stacks of these. Okay, let's pop over, take a look. Where's my tongs? How you guys doing? Ooh, I didn't think of that. This is just a steel pan. The other one was non-stick, and the things didn't stick. And I kind of thought that maybe they just weren't very sticky, but they're super sticky. Okay. Well, that's also an issue. Wow, are they sticky. Wow, are they sticky. I was supposed to just open it up quickly and flip them, but I have to chip them off the bottom because they are the stickiest. Okay. Oh, maybe this isn't the best. Wow. Okay. Oh, and it immediately stuck again. Oh, they're a problem. Wow. This is. Ooh, boy, I hope I get some good ones out of the oven. These are all coming out as problems. Yeah, this is the big flipper for when you really need the big flipper. I don't believe the heat is the issue. I believe that they are sticking because the surface is not a non-stick surface, and it's really they stuck in instantaneously. We can turn the heat down, but I really don't think that's the issue. I think the issue is that I'm trying to fry rice paper on a stainless steel pan, and the rice paper is just gluing itself down immediately. Well, we could go back to this pan with that oil. Well, they're all going to taste the same regardless of how they look. Maybe they won't. Maybe they won't. But I was fooled by the fact that the one I did in the nonstick pan was so easy to work with that they were only gonna kind of stick and I could get them loose. I was deluded. I was deluded by that. These are clearly going to just be adhered to the bottom. So, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? So the last three, I would like them to come out evenly if possible. Something else we got to do right this moment is these guys have produced a lot of liquid. A lot of liquid that was definitely not there when I put them in. They're not sticking, but they're not like gonna get crispy because they're soaking in this juice that they have produced. So they're just kind of steaming in place. Let's give them a temperature spike. And they're cooked through the middle, so I guess they're blazing hot. I guess we'll try out these gummy ones that didn't crisp up at all and see what they're like. Wow, we sure have a thing happening today. Why did they produce so much extra liquid? These other ones must also be producing the extra liquid that is then, like, boiling away. I didn't think they'd put out quite that much juice. Let's see if I can get any of these guys off of this pan. Heat off. Oh, that one just straight up tore off. Okay, that one's a disaster. I'm kind of mad about these. Oh, that one's not so bad. That one's not as bad. My hope was kind of that the sticking would. I understood that they would stick. I kind of hoped that they would stick and then release the way meat does, where it sticks initially and then as the surface cooks, it sort of lets itself go. These aren't like that. These really don't want to be like that. Okay, well, that's a thing that we did. The problem I had with this pan was a combination of splatter and scorching oil, because it was the wrong kind of oil. Wow. Okay. I think I need a better plate because we're going to put these. I'm going to present all of these. All of this nonsense is getting presented. For our finished plating, we're not hiding from this mess. But I need a plate that I can present all of this together. What have I got? What have I got? What have I got? What have I got? Or 4 little plates? What side dish did I make? None. Hi, Rayuya. We didn't make a side dish. We've spent the entire time fighting with the main event. So welcome in. We have made 3 kinds of mess. We have not made the thing that I initially thought we were going to make. We went with Isosceles' idea and then we had to troubleshoot the heck out of it because it was falling apart. And now we're putting the remaining 3 of these in this pan, and we're going to try to get the good ones. These were not my nicest wrap jobs of the group. That one's extra long. So I guess we'll find out. We didn't make a side dish. We didn't even make the dip. Pretty much all I'm going to make is a dip. So what these are, it is a chicken tender with pickles, mozzarella cheese, ham, wrapped in a spring roll wrapper, and we have tried multiple different cooking methods on them. This group was baked. They are cooked. They did not brown up at all, and they have produced a great deal of liquid that they kind of sat there and braised themselves in. That was a big surprise. Over here, that was a test one that I did in the pan we're currently using. Decided that I wanted a bigger pan and a different oil, so we swapped to a larger pan and did these. Unfortunately, they stuck to that pan quite badly, which is why they're all kind of weirdly shredded up and uneven. Meanwhile, these guys went in the air fryer, and they kind of exploded. They didn't like the air fryer at all. They were quite displeased with the air fryer. So far, the concern that I had with the chicken not getting cooked through because there was a raw chicken tender in the center of each one of these. The concern I had with the chicken not being cooked through has not been a concern at all. Every one of these things, when I've temperature probed it, has been way past the target temp for safe chicken. All this stuff is cooked through. The problem we're having is that the rice paper has really wants to stick to everything and does not have very good structural integrity, so it just shreds apart. I don't have a panini press. I guarantee you these things would stick to a panini press. They stuck to the non-stick grating in the air fryer. Rice paper is the stickiest stuff. They are Cubano. That was isosceles' idea. My initial idea was to make chicken Kiev roll-ups or possibly chicken cordon bleu roll-ups. But when I had the chicken and ham out here, isosceles said, oh, make a Cuban or a Cubano. And I thought that was great, but I wanted to stick with my roll-up idea, so we stuck with the roll-up idea. But the rolls needed something to hold them together. And the only things I had on hand were frozen spring wrapper rolls or rice paper. But the rice paper was not frozen, so it was the easiest one to get a hold of, so it's the one I went with. And I think that the spring roll wrappers would be a better choice for this thing in retrospect. But you'd have to have them thawed out in advance because they're way less sticky than rice paper. This stuff is so sticky. Oh, it touched the other roll, and they immediately tried to stick to each other. And somehow it won't stick. They don't want to stick to themselves. They keep unfolding as well. Although some of that is because I was very inconsistent with my folding method, and some of them are folded quite badly. But frying them in oil is so far the most successful process. We could have done lettuce wraps. I didn't have any lettuce, so they would have been cabbage wraps because I have cabbage. We were going to make a dipping sauce for them as well, which we're still going to do. We could have breaded them. That I don't know that would have helped with the... Oh, dang it. This had a tiny little magnet on it that I'm never going to find now. Oh, dang it. That's unfortunate. It's double thick. It needed an extra thick magnet. That's unfortunate. I don't know that would work with the rice paper. The rice paper is such a strange thing. It's really not meant to be used this way. A light coating? Maybe. It's too late now. We've already burned through them all. I think if I did this again, I would not use the rice paper. Rather than try to figure out how to make the rice paper not stick, I would just not use the rice paper. I would use the spring roll wrappers, which are naturally a lot less sticky. For the dipping sauce, a Cuban has mustard in it. And I did not put mustard inside the rolls because I was afraid of making them too wet, and they were too wet anyways. So I wanted to put the mustard into the dip. But just mustard, I think, would be too much. So I'm cutting it with some mayonnaise. And let's give it a shot of hot sauce as well. Not a ton, just a little bit. Some black pepper. And some tiny pinch of extra salt. Do I want any sweet? I don't think I want any sweetness. So yeah, it's been a journey. Lumpia. Somebody else. It was Stinky. Uncle Stinky came in and said, "Oh, these are like lumpia." Yes. Lumpia would have been the best option here, for sure. Wonton would have been good, except wonton wrappers are typically too small. We have chicken tenderloins in these things. Lumpia wrappers would have been perfect. Perfect for this. That is 100% correct. The problem is, and I have them, the problem is that they are frozen. I would have had to have prepped them in advance. And I did not think I would need an outer wrapper when I started, so I didn't get them out. Which clearly ended up being a mistake. Those ones are probably done. It seems hard to wildly overcook these. Get that sauce nice and smooth. Ooh, ooh, sauce is tasty. Let's see. I have. Ow, but those are brown plates, and these are very brown things. Let's get these off of here before they actually die. Oh, see, now it's not sticking. It's just hard to pick up. These don't look great either. None of these look particularly great. They all look kinda like I made a mess out of them. The heat off. So, yeah, that's what we made, a mess. Several different messes. Deep frying would have been the most ideal, yes, because then they wouldn't have stuck. I'm pretty sure these things would float. I didn't want to do deep frying for a number of reasons. We air fried some of them, and they did not work. That is these. They fell apart. I don't know. I have ideas how to fix this. The number one thing that I keep coming back to is just don't use the rice paper. It's a problem. They're gonna taste good regardless. I can't imagine them not tasting good. Some of them are gonna be chewy, some of them are gonna be crispy. I did not twine them up for the air fryer, no. That probably would have been a good idea. The ones in the air fryer fell apart. But the problem is the ones in the air fryer stuck to the non-stick rack that's in the air fryer. Which is just... Also, the ones in the air fryer ripped open because there's cheese in these. Because it's a Cubano. I don't know. We're having one of those like, oh, this was several kinds of wrong kind of day. I need a serving plate that can get all of these things on it, or at least representatives of them. Because we're in that stretch, we're in that part of the day when we plate them up, taste them, and wrap. Oh, there's stuff all over my camera station. Clean that up real quick. Those things need to cool off a little bit anyways. They're gonna burn me if I try to eat them as is. Bark. There was a bark. And not the tree kind. What plate? What plate am I going to use? I wish I had like a crescent-shaped plate. That's not a thing I have. I'm using the transparent blue plate. which is one we don't use very often at all. We're not putting all 5 of the oven ones on there. We're going to put 3 of the oven ones on there and do like a sets of 3 deal. Or possibly a sets of 2 deal. I think sets of 2. These baked ones look so bad. I can't believe they didn't even like brown a little bit. They look so bad. There's our one like nice fried one. And our stupid fried ones. And our, oh, and they're still trying to stick together. And our kind of disaster ones. This is hilarious how bad they came out. Okay, well, there's our representatives. I tried to pick the best from each pile, and some of them look bad anyways. Well, you know, as I say, they don't always work out. Let me go take a picture of this. Let me go take a picture of this. Boy, those baked ones really stand out. I'm getting hungry, although there's way too much to eat for me for dinner here. So I guess I can try to salvage some of them in reheating, especially those baked ones. So let's come back and let's give some of these an old tasteroo. Tasterino. A taste-a-hoo. A taste-a-rooney. They're going to taste good. That's the thing. It's chicken and ham and pickles and cheese and a mustard dip. This can't not taste good, right? They're just kind of ugly. I'm going to start with this first one, which I still think is the best one, with the dip, and just nom. Too much dip. It needs a little bit of dip. It's not blowing my socks off. I think I drowned it out a little bit with the dip. I'm going to try another bite with less of the dip so I can give you more notes. The dip tastes good, but it's a little strong, so you don't want a ton of it. You want like just a little bit. So it's greasy, but in a good way. It's good greasy. It's leaving grease on my fingers, but it's greasy in like a pleasingly greasy way. They've got some sharpness and some vinegariness from the pickle. You've got sort of a salty savoriness coming from the ham. The chicken honestly isn't doing a ton of work for flavor, but it is giving that sort of sturdy chew backbone that without it, with cooked chicken, cooked chicken has a firmness to it. Without that, I think these would be really floppy because the ham is so thin. The rice paper doesn't have really much integrity to it. Even fried, it's kind of bendy. Although the rice paper is, in that specific one, was giving a really pleasant crunch as well as a chew on the outside, which is quite nice. I'm worried that these kind of anemic ones are going to be disappointing because they aren't going to have that crunch at all. But it has me maybe positive about these ones that got a little bit over toasty because the crunch was quite pleasant. Because the pickles are not very crunchy. These pickles I made, they were quick pickles and they've been in there for quite a time. So they're not terribly quick anymore. And unfortunately, quick pickles lose their crunch much more than actual like fermented pickles do. That's why the pickles in the not refrigerated section are way less crunchy than the ones over in the refrigerated section at the grocery store. They're pretty good. They need solving. The problems we have with this are all structural. The flavors are not the problem. It's all structural. I'll try this one next. And I think they would be solved by going for the lumpia and frying them like lumpia. Lumpia wrappers also, when they're cooked, when they're fried, are much more sturdy. So they wouldn't need the help of having an intact piece of chicken in the middle. And you could do a chopped chicken or a minced chicken or something else, or a minced pork if we stick with the Cubano. Because again, we used the chicken because that's what we had. But making these for real, you should use pork, and you could do this with ground pork probably pretty nicely. And it would be easier to get stuff in there, I think, as well. Okay, let's try this really anemic pink one. The pink is because you're seeing the ham come right through the side of the paper. A little dip. That was no cheese stretch, that was a rice paper stretch. Okay, the texture of the rice paper is doing this no favors at all. It's slippery and stretchy, but rice paper, like when you make a spring roll, rice paper spring roll, it's got that chewy, bouncy stretch to it, but it's not slippery, it's sticky. These are oily because I oiled them in the hopes that the surface would crackle, and it didn't. So it's just left them slippery. It reminds me of the texture, you're gonna hate this. It reminds me of the texture of eating cartilage that has been almost cooked enough to break down. So it's not like it's bouncing against my teeth, but it's not a pleasant chew. The flavor is actually pretty nice on that one, I have to say. The pickle came through quite strongly. The pickle and the ham came through quite strongly. I think that one didn't have any cheese. That's one of the ones that had no cheese in it. The flavor was quite nice. The texture was very off-putting, I'm going to say. Even for me, I'm not a texture. I don't have problems with textures in general. So I'm not like oh, gross. But I know if you have any problems with textures, this is not the way to do these. Wow. I'm actually surprised at how gummy they came out. Like if you've ever left gummy bears in a hot car, but not quite hot enough to liquefy them. It's really strange. It's really strange. I guess I'll try to salvage those through additional cooking tomorrow. Maybe we can broil them, get that surface a little bit crisped up. I gotta say the flavors are great. Isosceles called it on terms of the Cubano flavors. The the chicken tenders are an excellent stand-in for the pork chop that normally goes in a Cubano, that thin, lean piece of pork. That definitely works out. I think if we got like paper thin shaved ham and wrapped that and let it sit, I think putting the pickle inside doesn't work because it wants to explode out once the pickle's been dried. It might need a relish to be on the outside, or if you're making a wrap. I'm still thinking all the way back to the start when we were going to make tenders. I think you could do that if you wrapped the chicken with very thin pieces of ham, like thinner than the one that I got here, very thin, so that they have almost no integrity to them. Just paper thin pieces. Ideally, that reformed stuff that doesn't have the actual like meat texture in it, because they wouldn't tear apart then. Um, but just like paper thin, and then you let it sit. You let them rest like that, so that it sort of rests into shape, and then you bread that. I don't know how you'd get cheese in there. The flavors work. The flavors are not the problem. It's just solving how to make this structurally sound with these flavors. I like this. This is good. This could use a little lemon, just a dash though. And possibly, yeah, possibly yes, the relish on the side would be easier. I think some of the ones that exploded did so because there was boiling pickle juice inside them because the pickles were quite juicy. All my filling, I think, was too wet. The ham wasn't too wet. I think the chicken probably should have been pre-cooked just to dry it out a little bit. And then the pickles being inside was a problem. They were too wet. That also would have prevented the skins from crisping up because they'd constantly be fighting against the fact that they were moisture on the inside. Okay, I don't hate these. I'm not going to say this is one of my best work. I'm going to say this is one of my messiest successes. They're edible and ugly. And they made a mess all over the kitchen that I now have to deal with. But I like the idea. I'll have to say, now, I've got quite a bit of ham to work with. I like the idea enough that I kind of want to revisit it. This is one of those ones where I need to write down a list of revisits because I can't count the number of times that I've said, oh, we should come back and revisit that one and try again. And then I've forgotten all of those. Which means if you're in my Discord and you remember any of those ones that I said I would revisit and haven't done so, please drop them in the suggestion box to remind me. We'll drop this one in the suggestion box. I'll drop this one in the suggestion box to remind myself. Unless one of you gets to it first. Because I like the idea of a Cubano roll. Because the flavors of a Cubano are very good. But I don't always want a big sandwich. So I like the idea of making these little rolls. And just getting them to structurally work is the issue. Anyways, I've been rambling, which means that's probably the time to wrap us up and ship us out. So I'm going to find out who's on at 7:15 on a Monday. Well, you've got some cooking channels that I've never seen. We could dive into a mystery cooking channel. Someone's cutting up a pumpkin. That could be fun. What's in my follows list? Joe is on late. I should say Everdream is on late. Ultrasaurus is on early. Imperial Jedi. What do you guys think? Where should we go? LaFay's not on. We can't just fall back to LaFay because LaFay is not here today. Let's we're gonna dive in on we're gonna dive in on an unknown. This person is cooking. A spaghetti and meatballs spider nest, Halloween themed. Talking about how to deal with spices and garlic, which is nice. We always like to have educational. I have no knowledge of them beyond that. They look pretty nice. I don't have the sound on because you'd hear the sound immediately if I put the sound on, so I'm just going by their subtitles, which they have subtitles. That's helpful. They're by the name of Chef J. Tay. So let's all go say hi to Chef J. Tay, ask about the meatballs and spaghetti, and tell them about this disaster-tastrophe that I made, and maybe we'll make some new friends. I haven't stabbed out into a completely random in a little bit. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for being here. Thanks to everyone who hung out. Thanks for everyone who came early. Thanks for everyone who came late. Thanks to Mags for the resub. Thanks to Isosceles for being first. Thank you, Isosceles. Yeah. So I guess I will see you. Hopefully I don't lose track of the time again on Friday. Bye.